My name is Joakim Nyberg, Development Cooperation Consultant and Evaluator. I would like to pose my question in Spanish and then I will read it in English. It's very brief. ¿Cuál es tu opinión sobre, Rosa María, sobre el papel que juega el periódico Primavera Digital, particularmente para promover un proyecto coherente y unido para la oposición? My question was, what is your opinion about the digital website, Primavera Digital, particularly related to the promotion of a unity and a coherent political project for Cuba?
I'm not sure that I could answer in English because my English is not quite perfect. So I'm going to answer you in Spanish and then I'll try to translate myself. Yo conozco de Primavera Digital, pero realmente no he tenido ninguna señal de solidaridad con nuestro movimiento o con nuestras propuestas. Es poco lo que puedo decir porque realmente pues, las relaciones son pocas, no porque haya habido ningún problema, sino porque pues simplemente no se comunican con nosotros. So I said that. I know the newspaper, I know about Primavera, but they doesn't or haven't shown any solidarity with us. We don't have any problem with them, but we don't have communication because they don't want.
My name is Donald. I have two short questions. First, there's not only support from Sweden for the dissidents, there's also quite a lot of people wearing Che Guevara t-shirts, people talking about the great healthcare in Cuba and really promoting the socialist government that way. And how does that affect you and your strategy in Cuba? And the second question is, a lot of people think that in a few years the Castro brothers will not be where they are right now, and then everything will solve itself. What do you think of that prognosis?
Well, neither of the Castro brothers or neither of the actual chief of the states has been actually elected by the people. So until this situation doesn't change, we cannot see any signal of opening or democracy coming from the government. What we are asking here is very basic, is elemental. We need rights to start to talk about changes. Until this rights doesn't be a reality, we cannot be being innocent about this situation. We cannot make fantasies. These reforms, this explanation from the government doesn't bring change until now. So until now, we have to continue demanding change in the law to guarantee the rights to the people. I don't know if I answer all your questions.
Mi nombre es Carlos Estefanía de la revista Cubana Nuestra. Tengo dos preguntas para ti, ¿no? La primera es acerca de los cambios en Cuba, ¿no? Podemos discutir si es una estafa o si son reformas verdaderas, pero lo cierto es que el régimen se está adaptando un poco a lo que existe en las sociedades liberales, que saben neutralizar a sus enemigos, no importa si salen o entran o tienen pequeñas propiedades. La pregunta primera es, en estas nuevas condiciones del funcionamiento del sistema que existe en Cuba, ¿hay que exigir una nueva estrategia del movimiento democrático? ¿Y cuál sería esa nueva estrategia, dado que las condiciones son diferentes? Esa es la primera pregunta. Y la segunda pregunta está un poco relacionada con tu encuentro con Carromero en España. O sea, en tu encuentro con Carromero en España lograste que él dijera o por lo menos dijera algo nuevo, algo diferente a lo que él estuvo declarando todo el tiempo. Mi pregunta es si has podido hacer lo mismo con Aaron Moody, que se encuentra aquí, si te has podido encontrar con él y has logrado que él cambie un poco su testimonio.
I think we need a translator.
¿Quieres que repita? No, traducirlo al inglés no, mi inglés no es tan bueno.
Carlos Estefanía, de tidningen
Cuba Nuestra.
Newspaper Cuba Nuestra, the magazine. He had two questions. One is that we could discuss if there are fraudulent changes or if there are real changes, but there are new circumstances in Cuba. So should we demand a new strategy from the opposition? And the second question was, when you met with Ángel Caromero in Spain, did he say something new to you that you don't already knew? And have you had the opportunity to do the same with Aaron Moody here in Sweden? That was his question.
Sorry. Respecto a la primera pregunta, no estamos de acuerdo con que la situación ha cambiado, porque la situación de los cubanos en Cuba no ha cambiado. Los cubanos no tienen derechos en Cuba y eso es una realidad. Quizás la imagen que el gobierno esté dando para el mundo exterior sí ha cambiado, y en ese sentido entiendo el cuestionamiento. Y quizás la estrategia tiene que adaptarse a ese cambio de imagen del gobierno. Pero la realidad es que los cubanos no tienen derechos. La realidad es que la represión contra la oposición en Cuba ha aumentado durante el último año, y por tanto nuestra realidad es que tenemos que seguir luchando por los derechos de los cubanos, y lo vamos a seguir haciendo de manera pacífica, de manera legal, pero movilizando el mayor número de ciudadanos posible. So, I was telling that I'm not agree with the point that the situation has changed, because the situation for Cubans haven't changed. Cubans remain without rights, and the repression against the members of the activist movement, of the civics fighters for the rights has increased. So our situation doesn't change, maybe it's worse now. What has changed is the pictures that governments want to project to the outside world. And in that sense, maybe our strategy must be adapted to that change in the image of the government. But we have to remain fighting for our rights, and we are going to remain fighting for our rights within the law, within the Pacific ways, but moving the most amount of people that we can move. And I think that we have a hope, because we have a proposal, and we actually have a growing number of persons which are demanding their rights. La segunda pregunta, me preguntabas sobre lo que yo he podido lograr o no he podido lograr con las declaraciones de ambos testigos extranjeros. Debo decir que en primer lugar yo no he logrado nada. Yo solo he conversado con ellos. En realidad no he descubierto nada nuevo, solo he confirmado informaciones que ya teníamos, informaciones que además venían de diferentes fuentes que no eran ambos testigos sobrevivientes. Estoy hablando de los mensajes de texto, estoy hablando de las informaciones que vienen de las personas que escucharon a Ángel hablar en el hospital, de las informaciones que vienen de las personas que escucharon a la policía leer las actas de los testigos o de los supuestos testigos que estaban en el lugar de los hechos. Todas estas informaciones decían que no fue un accidente. Cuando yo hablé con Ángel Caromero, solo confirmé que lo que estas informaciones decían era real. Yo no logré que él cambiara nada, solo conversé sinceramente con él. Y lo mismo ocurrió con Aaron, aunque él tiene menos memoria de lo ocurrido. Bien. His second question was about the statements of the witness or the survivors, and I'm just telling that I haven't get anything new. I just have some confirmation of the facts that we already knew, because we already knew that it was not an accident. We already knew that because of the text message that we have already published, because of the statements of the person which were in the hospital and which listened to Angel Romero talk, and to the persons who listened the policeman talk about the declaration of the witness that were there in that moment. All these statements told us about the reality that the car was impacted from behind. So with Angel and with Aaron, I just get confirmation of the facts, no new news. Although I don't have no much memories about the incident.
Can I just shortly also give an answer to the questions, even if it wasn't put for me? I think it's very important for politicians here in Sweden and the rest of Europe to listen to the dissidents and to the opposition, and to ask them if they really feel like steps are taken in the right direction. Because like I said in the beginning, but also like Rosa María said, a lot of these changes are cosmetic. It's only a way for the regime to give a better view of the country. When the people don't feel the changes, Sweden and Europe shouldn't change their relationships to Cuba. Otherwise, we should still demand human rights and democracy and a free election.
I just want to say that this is not the first time an accident of this kind has happened in Cuba. But it has not been confirmed, but Laura Colan, the head of the Ladies in White, it was filmed when they hit her behind on the car. It was witnessed by the Italian filmer. So it's very probable that it really has happened. My question is, but Aaron Moody was asleep because it was on the 8th hour when the shock came. He had been on the road for a long time when they finally came to Payá. But he cannot have been asleep all the way, from the early morning until the afternoon. So has he not had anything to tell about the travel from Havana on the way there?
Well, we talk a lot. We have several things to talk, not just about the facts, also about our feelings and our movements. But I think that this is a question to Aaron, not to me. Sorry.
I didn't remember to introduce myself in the beginning. My name is Emma Henriksson. I'm the group leader of the Christian Democratic Party in the Parliament. My question for you is because you have told us about the hope, and that is something very good for us to know that you have the hope, and we want to contribute to that hope. So I just want to ask you, of course we will continue to give you our moral support, but what else can we do as parliamentarians or other Swedish people engaging in the freedom for Cubans?
Thank you for that question. Well, I think that the support that we are asking is not a support for our movement. It's a support the demands of a largest number of people, of citizens. Some of them have signed our project, some of them not because of their fear, but these demands are just so evident that we need it. We need free expression, we need free elections, we need travel freely, and the support that we are waiting for you is the support to these demands. And it's very, I think you don't have to create it because that demands are already made. We have for instance, the Varela project, which is a demand of referendum, and that is something that you can demand. Please listen to the people, please ask to the people, make the referendum. Other thing is that we are trying to collect support for an international investigation. We're trying to do that within the European Parliament. So all the things or all the support that you can give us in that direction is going to be good for us, not just because we need to know the truth, not just because we need that the reconciliation process be actually truly and be after the recognition of all the truth. Also because we need to protect the people in Cuba. We need to protect the civic fighters that are right now in danger. I need to protect my family, and I need to protect the whole opposition which is working now in Cuba. So you can make a call to this impunity to stop. Thank you.
Oswaldo was maybe the best known opposition leader, and many would say the most important opposition leader. So the judgment came quite quickly here that this was se acabó con la oposición, that this was the final blow for the opposition. What's your comment on that?
I probably have two answers for that question. One personal and other political. I don't think that my family, or in the personal sense, that my family or our movement or me could ever overcome this loss. Not my father, not Harold Cepeda. But my father and Harold had made a very good job. They had prepared our movement, and I dare to say our people to can walk for this path of hope and this path of Pacific changes. So we have the tools, we have the propositions, and we are just continuing their work.
¿Cuáles son los resultados más importantes para libertades en Cuba del trabajo tanto de tu papá, el movimiento, los blogueros, los periodistas libres? ¿Cuáles son los indicadores de resultados, de progreso? Which are the main results of your struggle? Not only the movement and your father, also the entire human rights defenders movement, the bloggers and the journalists, the freelancers, and so on.
Thank you. First I have to say that we cannot talk in a literal way about effective or about results when we are people which live under totalitarian systems. Our results are not so spectacular, or we cannot tell exactly the number or the amount of our results. But I can tell you that, for instance, the fact that more than 25,000 of people are demanding changes in the law is something that is very strong and very powerful. We see a society which is living under the fear. I could tell you that the fact that the opposition is united in its objective through the initiative of the path of the people is a qualitative step for us, because we can tell now that we all are working for the same objective. We have different tendencies, we have different styles, but we have the same objective, and that objective is the rise to the people. I should say also that the journalist work is very important, especially for the outside world to know what is the reality in Cuba and which are our work and which are our demands. So, of course, opposition is changing. I cannot give an absolute answer to that question until we obtain our rights. But I think that, that we have a hope.
Hello, my name is Ulrika Karlsson. I'm a member from another party, the Moderate Party. We are in the same coalition in the government, so to say, the same alliance and friends. I was actually invited by KIC to Cuba, and I was honored to meet your great father in your home in Havana. And I must say, I'm very sorry for the great loss of your father. He was a huge man, and it was a great honor for me to be one of the nominators for Nobel Peace Prize for Oswaldo as well. I wonder what's going on with the Valera project. Is it still active? Can you still sign it? And do people still sign it? And the other question I do have is that internationally some people say that Raúl Castro, he has done some democratic reforms. What is your comment on that one, that he has done some democratic reforms?
Thank you for your support and your visit to us. These reforms are not democratic until people doesn't have rights. That's just the fact. Valera project is still alive because Valera projects haven't been answered still. So the government still has to ask to the people what they want. The government still has to make this referendum. Of course, we are still collecting signatures, but this is not so important right now because we already delivered large amounts of signatures. We are collecting other signatures to other projects like Heredia project, which is similar to the Valera project because it's asking for some change in the law, but to guarantee other human rights that we need and for we are fighting. So the demands of the Valera project, if this is your questions, are still waiting for their answer, and we are still pushing to that answer to come soon.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have any time for more questions, I'm sorry. Time is running away. And I would like to just give the floor just a few comments from the three of you at the end of this seminar. Please, Caroline, start.
So I just wanted to end by saying thank you for coming and really feel the support from us. And like you said, I think it's important that the demands that you put on the table today are the demands that we should listen to and try to help as much as we can.
Thank you. Pues agradecer una vez más toda la solidaridad, todo el apoyo que nuestros amigos suecos nos han brindado a lo largo de todos estos años, la oportunidad de podernos reunir aquí con algunos amigos, algunos hermanos nuestros cubanos. Agradecer sobre todo la posibilidad de que Rosa María pueda hablarles, pueda compartir con ustedes los criterios, los puntos de vista y la lucha del Movimiento Cristiano de Liberación y de la mayor parte de la oposición cívica cubana. Esto para nosotros es muy importante y pues lo único que puedo decir de ella, como alguien que la vio prácticamente nacer y que ha estado tan cerca durante estos 25 años que como ella dijo, su papá hizo un buen trabajo, su papá, su mamá, su familia. Y como viejo dentro del Movimiento Cristiano de Liberación, pues llenarme de esperanza ver que esta nueva generación de líderes del movimiento pues mantiene viva la lucha y mantiene viva la esperanza de muchos cubanos. Quería hacer este comentario personal sobre Rosa.
Regis thanked the Swedish friends for the support through the years, and also for giving him the opportunity to meet here with friends and also with his Cuban brothers and sisters, and also for thanking for giving Rosa Maria the possibility to talk about the struggles for democracy and human rights in Cuba. And also on a personal note, he wanted to say that he has seen Rosa Maria grow up since she was born, and he's very proud of her, and her father and the family has made a good job, and he's very happy to see this new generation of leaders, and it gives him hope for the future.
I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to our Cuban friends here, our Cuban brothers here, and thank you, of course, to our Swedish friends. I have felt this friendship to grow and this friendship to give us hope also, and to give us the force to continue in some point. I want to remind that was also the feeling of my father and the feeling of her, and that we are waiting for the support to the Cuban people, not to the Christian Liberation Movement, also that, but not to the Christian Liberation Movement. The support should be to the demands of the people, to the rights of the persons, and this is a human question, not a political question. Or it's also political, but it's first is human, and is our work